Hey,
what's up, fam?
Welcome to the Thunder and Lightning Show. Hey, we didn't even want to walk up. We didn't want to do nothing special today.
We go right to the table.
Right to the table, right to the discussion. Hope you guys have enjoyed our past shows. Hope you've been enjoying what we're doing.
We appreciate the support.
We've been doing a lot of stuff outside the gym, showing life.
Other things outside.
So today what we're going to do, we're going to call it a deep dive into what Elite Fitness is, what it is that we do.
What's the philosophy behind
Elite. What we're trying to do. It's Elite Fitness headquarters, and it's the headquarters of fitness. And the reason behind that is just the time that I've spent
under the bar
in this industry,
so to speak.
So since the age of 23, I've been training, and I've started off, like every other trainer does, in the gym, a global gym, machines, treadmills, all that. But when I graduated, my first thing that I wanted to do was to be able to train athletes. That's what every trainer
anybody would want to do, right?
Wants to do is to be able to train athletes.
Work with the high end.
Not even high end, just athletes. High school, middle school, elementary, doesn't matter what it is. I just wanted to work with athletes. That's what I thought would be fun. And as soon as I graduated, came back, thought I could do that. And it didn't work out that way. And so, I continued doing what I was doing, and knew I had to do it the hard way and get the skins on the wall, and that's what I did. And I'm thankful that it didn't work out right away. I was training athletes because at that point I wasn't ready. I would have done a good job, but I wouldn't have been able to do as good as a job
as you would want,
as I am now.
Yeah.
I think it wouldn't have helped me get to the point I am now, where I can do what I can do now.
At the level that you can do it.
At the level I can do it, and then be able to work across the board with anybody. Here at Elite Fitness, we work with anybody and everybody.
5 to 75.
5 to 75, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what condition you are in.
What your goals are.
We got you. And the funnest thing that when I first started training first thing I discovered was training regular, what you'd call GPP, general population people, was seeing the ones that they just wanted to get healthy, they wanted to get fit, they wanted to look good. Want to look good in their bathing suit, want to look good in their clothes, look good at going out. And like me and Sam were talking a few weeks ago, I didn't have a philosophy then. I was just kind of trying to figure it out in training. I was like, you know what? I'm an athlete. I like training like an athlete. Athletes look good. So why don't that be my style? I just train everybody like an athlete. And that's when I started bringing in the speed ladders and bringing that stuff, because it made it funner. It made it funner for me, and it made it funner for them.
And who doesn't want to feel like an athlete and look like an athlete?
And the fun part was turning those people that didn't think they were an athlete, had no clue that they could do and move the way they could, teaching them how to do that. That became really fun, and seeing the light in their eyes and be like, oh, I never could do this. I wasn't, I didn't do this when I was in high school. I was scared to be an athlete. Oh my gosh, if I would have had you, I would have done this. And that became my joy of training general population, was being able to show them that everybody's an athlete.
Yeah, and see that same spark, because it's the same thing as an athlete sees whenever they start seeing progress transfer to their field, right? That's the same light as general population, just seeing they're able to do these things that they see these people in videos and athletes doing. Like, it just feels good to be able to have yourself do something that you see somebody that you would say is a high caliber athlete doing, in a sense.
I mean, it's fun, right? And I think to the extent, what we'll get into a little bit later, is that's why now with CrossFit and people working out, they want to be like Brooke Wells
or Matt Frazier.
Matt Frazier, they want to work
out.
Of
course, who wouldn't?
Like those people. Yeah. Like that's before it was Deion Sanders, or you want to be like this guy or that guy.
And before that, Schwarzenegger.
You know what I mean? Well, that's way back.
Way
that's
back.
Bodybuilding. That's bodybuilding. But that's kind of evolution. The first people that I learned underneath in a gym were old bodybuilders. Those were the guys at that point owned gyms or were GMs of
gyms. Industry, in a sense.
Were bodybuilders. And there wasn't. You would see the former athletes as trainers, but the guys that had really been in fitness and the fitness game were old bodybuilders that, looked up to the Arnold Schwarzeneggers and those guys, and were, doing the Olympia stuff, and bodybuilding was the thing.
The thing.
That's what people did. And so that's what I learned from. And then whenever I started introducing the athletic stuff and being an athlete, they looked at me crazy, but they got it, and they gave me my reign. And I can't tell you, everybody I've ever worked for, right, that I've worked for, they were a former bodybuilder. That's what they did.
Not mine.
And I learned a lot from them, and I learned a lot about lifting weights and how to lift, how to eat, their protocol and what their philosophy were on, how to lift. But again, with bodybuilding, it's an aesthetics thing. It is primarily for looks.
The looks, yep.
You have to have symmetry. You have to look right. Every muscle has to be the right
chiseled
proportion.
in the right way and tanned up.
And that's what it is. And so that's what I learned there. Now, being an athlete and moving more like that, it was more performance-based. You got to have muscle that does something. That has to
not
make
useless
you,
muscle in a sense.
Has to make you faster. Has to make you. It's not useless. It's just different. It's just you're going to use it to improve your movement,
right?
Not to look aesthetically pleasing, which is completely different.
It's just a different style entirely. Like, it's just, and it kind of, when I think about it, it makes too much sense in my head for it to not like transfer over. It's the same thing of like a recipe for chicken, right? It's going to be completely different than a recipe for something else, but it's all still cooking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Well, it's the human body.
Yeah.
And the human body is hey, God did a good job with that. And that's you can experiment with it and you can play with it. Just like if you give it so many calories and you do so much work, what's your output? What are you going to get? That's the great experiment with the human body. How do I make the human body perform at its best or look at its best as bodybuilding is? Well, now, coming from that and me being able to do more athletic-based training, and now, I was doing that before CrossFit was a thing. Now that CrossFit is a thing, it's opened the doors to what I like to do, and having Elite Fitness as a gym, it's not as daunting or as scary or as intimidating.
Intimidating, yeah.
That it used to be, because CrossFit does this, and CrossFit is a major global thing, and people love to do it. And that's awesome. It's opened me to be able to do exactly what I want to do.
This is a step in the evolution of the industry.
Yeah, and
fitness
people,
industry.
24-hour fitness, LA Fitness, those global gyms, they have sleds, they have tires, they have little turf now that you have to do.
They didn't used to until that step was taken.
That's evolution of fitness. And so what that's been able to do is, the beauty of it is I'm able to do this. I'm able to have a gym. I'm able to train people in the way that I think is the most effective, the funnest.
And it also reaches more people, and more people can find something they enjoy as far as fitness and making themselves healthy.
It opens the door.
Opens that door
to more people.
Yeah.
I mean, there's tons of people in global gyms, and there's tons of people in your LA 24, but they're also doing the same thing. They're on a treadmill, on an elliptical, and they get scared to step over to the machines or step over to their free weights. CrossFit's been able to have people want to do that because they've seen more people do it. Now that people are still intimidated by it, and that's where I like to be, where we don't do CrossFit, we do a variation of it, and that's kind of where the conversation that we want to get into is kind of with the evolution of CrossFit and sports performance. What I've seen happen and what I've seen kind of with social media and internet and YouTube and all these things, and people wanting to be Brooke Wells and Bree, Matt Frazier and all these guys. They want to jump right into it and be those guys.
Do what they're doing, what they see on Instagram or whatever.
What they forget is, and what's happened with CrossFit is, CrossFit athletes are the fittest in the world, and that's because they have to be great over many disciplines.
Which takes
fitness.
A lot of time.
Besides that, you have a lot of skill.
Yeah.
Because what they're doing is they're powerlifting, right? Which powerlifting has been like an underground thing. Not a lot of people were powerlifting.
But if you're powerlifting, you're
bodybuilders, bodybuilders were doing bodybuilding, but there's always been powerlifters. There's always been those guys trying to lift the most weight, your Louis Simmons, Dave Tates, those guys. They've always been there. They've always been doing it, and that's kind of a lot of where the sports performance can pull from, because they're making the body perform and lift as much weight, and usually that crosses over to sports if you know how to use those tools correctly. But what that's also done is, we got your powerlifting, which you have to do as CrossFit. You have to be real strong, and you have your Olympic weightlifting that CrossFit's gotten into, which is your snatches, your Olympic lifting.
Clean and jerks, your power cleans,
all that stuff,
all those things.
All those things are Olympic lifting. What I've seen happen with that is CrossFit does it all. And what I've seen with that is people jump into CrossFit, they love it, love it, love it, love it, and then they start really falling in love with the Olympic lifting aspect of it.
Yeah, every
and
time.
they dive into wanting to get better at the Olympic lifting aspect, because if you really want to be good at CrossFit, you have to be good at
really
Olympic
good
lifting.
at Olympic lifting.
Right? You have to learn those skills.
Yeah.
And that's not natural. Like the lifting and squatting, those things are kind of normal. You can pick those things up and you can get strong at a certain point. But what's going to lag is your Olympic lifting.
Because that's a whole different skill. It takes a
skill.
lot more time to learn.
More time to learn. And that's kind of the beauty of it if people have the right
guidance.
The right aspect and vision of what their training is, and showing that training is, you're not going to get it all this year.
Yeah.
You're not going to get it all next year. You're not going to get it all in 3 years. When you pick something like that, it is a journey, and that's why you say working out is a lifestyle. It's a journey, because you're going to get better each year. You're going to work on these skills. It's trying to pick up golf and wanting to go compete at the PGA.
Yeah. I mean, here, just to put it into perspective, Matt Frazier was an Olympic lifter for about 10 years before he even got into CrossFit.
Exactly.
And he was three-peater now.
It made it a lot easier for him because Olympic lifting was his thing first. And why we're discussing this stuff and in different genres is I think people forget they're watching YouTube, they're watching Instagram, and they're seeing all this stuff. And what's happened is they're using these different standards that apply to different genres across the board.
Yep.
And then you have these guys that are on Instagram or whatever trolling people saying for depth, for squat, that's not right, that's not right, you're not doing it this way. And I'm like, you have absolutely no idea really what you're talking about.
You're judging a 15-second, 30-second clip.
Yeah, and you have no idea what the program or the training style is or what they're
The thought
doing.
behind what is going on in the video.
The big picture. You're lacking the big picture because you're only seeing a 15-second clip. And as much as I love fitness and I love that everybody's working out and they're finding new ways to do it, as long as people are active and working out and are fit and healthy, that's what I want. That's
what a trainer should want in general. I mean, that was the main principle that drew me to being a trainer was I want to help people get results, whatever results it is that they're going to want.
Whatever it is they want to do and however they want to do it, I want to be skilled enough to teach them how to do it. Luckily here at Elite Fitness, we're able to give everybody a great base strength is the starting blocks of fitness.
And making them functional.
Functionally fit, functional kinetics, that's what we use that for. Because what I want to do is able to have people move well. Be it you know how to squat, you know how to do a good push-up, you know how to add weight to those things and be able to maintain posture and position. And what I've seen happen a little bit more is people rush to the next progression without taking care of this first thing. And so what we're going to do is we got a little off base, jumping right into the topic and discussing what we see and how we see it. And look, there's no right or wrong way to do it. I just want people to be the most effective with what they choose to do and not be injured. And then I'm an old head. I just have seen, I've been in the industry, I've seen how people have gone. Because I've trained people and then they've, gone into CrossFit and then they've, gone to Olympic lifting, and I have athletes that do Olympic lifting now, and I love it. I love it because, when I first started training them, I thought they would never be able to do anything like that. And now they're owning it, and they love it. They're
that just goes
enjoying
to
it.
show how much time it takes. It takes 5 years, 6 years of building. That's how large of a base you need to have in order to build and create those skills and things like that.
Those things they're highly skilled movements.
Yep.
They're that's why it's an Olympic it's an Olympic event because it's a highly skilled movement. And you have to build that kind of power and that kind of movement to be able to own some of those and compete at that level. And the fact that everyday people are willing to take that challenge on and learn those movements, it makes us all better human beings, better movement. We get to use our bodies the way they're intended to move, and that feels very empowering to be able to do some of those
somebody
movements.
that too.
Well, yeah, to give them to it, to teach them that, for them to want to do it, and for them to take ownership of that, that's very empowering. So what we do here at Elite Fitness is, my favorite class in college, I did exercise sports science at Texas Tech, and my favorite class was lifespan development. And the reason I enjoyed that class was because it took us as a baby, from the moment we were conceived all the way till the moment we died. And it taught us everything in between. And I really love that class because I love the process.
Right.
I love time. I love the evolution. I love just every step of the way. And I love definitely being present in every moment that you're in and enjoying the moment you're in, but also being able to be aware of the whole picture. And, whenever I see the kids, I enjoy watching kids because that was a fond moment for me. I enjoy seeing my parents or anybody older because that's where I'm going. And then still stay present in the now.
Love right now.
And enjoy the right now. Let's live, what is it I heard from Dave Tate? It's live, learn,
pass on.
Pass on. Live, learn, pass on.
Live, learn, pass on.
That's a good one, so I'm going to steal that. Live, learn, pass on.
Shout out Dave.
So, what we do here is we're able to work with, our first program is our rookie program. It's usually our kids from 5 to 11, 5 to 12.
There.
That 11 to 12 is a weird age. Some hit puberty early, some don't. And what we give those young kids is basic movement patterns. I'm going to teach you how to
move your body efficiently and effectively through space.
That's functional kinetics, bro.
To prevent injury and things like that.
I'm going to teach kids how to squat, lunge, jump, land, sprint, running form, technique. That's it. That's what I'm going to teach them. And the better that they get at that, the more I can progress them on to the other things. I can start adding weight. And when we add weight, that's when your posture and position usually start to break a little bit so we can see where you're weak at. And definitely where we see the most break is in core stability.
Every time.
That is, core stability is a must in everything. Everybody hates that we do so many abs, but we do a lot of core work. A lot of core work here.
That fixes a lot of our athletes' problems is just by doing core work,
honestly. It fixes the most of the problems.
Yeah.
It will progress you faster doing a lot of core work because you're not going to break down. We're trying to prevent you. We're trying to get you as much capacity, as much volume as you can without breaking down. And as long as you can, and take on as much load as you can without breaking down. And that directly correlates to the core. And we've seen our kids, our 5, 8-year-olds progress amazingly. We'll have 5, 7-year-old kids, and if they go play on their baseball team,
their parents have things to say.
Their softball team, they're everybody looks at them. Everybody is like, "What you guys have helped so much." Because it's the basics. And kids pick up those fundamental moving patterns like running, jumping, all those things from the age of 5 to 8. Lifespan development, learn that one. 5 to 8, and it's ingrained in them, 5 to 8, right? And so everything past that, you're just improving on those skills that have been
basic
ingrained.
Movements.
And that's what it is. So we get them locked in with those movement patterns. And everybody knows, if you see somebody who moves well, you know they move well. It's just like if you see somebody who dances well, you know they're a good dancer.
Okay, I might not know nothing about dancing, but I know you look good when you're dancing.
Good, right? It's the same thing with athleticism. That's what it is. They move well. And that's what I try to teach them from 5 to 9, 5 to 11. And then we get that weird range of some hit puberty early, some don't, some are lagging behind. But still, we try to, that's when we start adding load to the situation. That's when we start adding load to the squat, having them deadlift, having them pick them up, and trying to maintain posture and position. You're going to hear me say posture and position a lot.
A lot, because that's what it's about.
Because that's the game. Because whenever posture and position breaks, that's where our weakness is. That's where
everything else breaks down, and that's why it all comes back to the core. Your core helps maintain that posture and position.
That's why we got to build on the accessories and start building up that to maintain that posture and position. That's when we start seeing the weaknesses, and those weaknesses, we have the accessories, the old bodybuilding way to build those muscles so you can function better and maintain posture, position. 14 to 15, our high school group, that's when we really start getting advanced and trying to make performance on the field vastly better with power, with explosive power
Explosiveness, yep.
and power. We're trying to make you really, really strong. We're trying to make you explosive and move with a sense of urgency and be able to put your foot in the ground and go with power. The more force you put in the ground, the faster you will be. And that's really our high school program, and we really get advanced with some of our movements there. And then we have our college program. By then, they're dialed in. They know what to do.
Yep.
We are just cranking the system and letting it go and letting them boys get big and strong
yoked.
And move.
And fast.
And if you've seen our videos, you've seen our social media, you know what we're talking about. If you don't, check out our Instagram.
Elite Fitness HQ.
Our kids get big, they get they get big, they have nice size, they're solid, and
they move well.
They move well. That's at the end of the day, they got to move well.
Yep.
And it has to translate to the field. If it doesn't translate to the field, it doesn't matter.
I'm not doing it, yeah.
Now, that's all the kids from our ages of 5 to our college kids. If it doesn't translate to the field, we don't do it because that's our primary goal, is to make them better athletes.
Make you a better athlete.
That's it. It has to transfer directly to the field, period. Now, we do have kids that are, in band or, don't do anything.
And they just want to work out.
They just want to work out still.
It still works, though.
They still need to learn how to move well, move weight, learn how to exercise, learn how to be in the gym, period. We've done our job there. And most of the kids, they love it. They end up coming back when we thought they weren't going to come back.
Yeah. They're real happy about the muscles they have. And aesthetics is always a side effect, even if you're training for performance.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm training for performance, but you're going to start
Athletes
looking shredded.
That's why I decided to
do.
That's why I started to, hey, we're going to train people like athletes because they look good.
And they move well in there.
And it's functional muscle. So, then we go to our GPP, basically. Anybody that graduates from college and just kind of wants to still have that athletic feel to them, still be able to move well, still be able to lift heavy weights. That's where we do more of our GPP, but we dumb it down a little bit and back it up. And because we have life to deal with, we have to work, we have to go to work, we can't be sore all day.
Kids running around.
Kids running around. You have things to do.
And plus, that our GPP age range, our range of people is vast also. So it has to be accommodating to all of those different types of people.
Yeah, and it has to fit everybody. It has to, everybody has to enjoy it. Everybody has to get out of it. So that's when it gets more like your CrossFit style.
Yeah.
If it was to look like anything. Now we don't go all in on CrossFit. We just keep it very basic movements. We don't do a lot of the Olympic lifting at all. You won't really get us to do a lot of that.
We hang clean.
We hang clean, and I love a hang clean.
Love a good hang clean.
It demonstrates power. But then, from our GPP, we go to our master's program, which is, 50 to 75. They just need to get their heart rate up. They need to still move well, still maintain mobility, still maintain a very strong core. The older you get, the muscle density you lose. That's when you start losing mobility, functionality. You start walking a little bit slower due to your core being weak. So we reinforce that. We keep you strong.
And we make sure you can move through space without, healthily.
Yeah, we do a lot of just old farmer work where they're going to pick up, put down things, all of that.
Push, pull.
And that's what's important. And that's our lifespan and development, right?
5 to 75.
Now, the funny thing with that is, and what we see people get on us about is, especially with our kids, is squat depth. Or what are you doing? The way we deadlift.
Yeah.
And, my job is to have them perform best at their sport.
Without being injured.
And that is field sport. What I do, they're not getting scholarships for squatting the best form, best technique, the best.
Nope.
I need them to be able to maintain posture position within a squat. Now, whenever the hips hinge and you lower, technically, Even if it's 2 inches, that's a squat. Now, squatting to parallel or to depth is a powerlifting term, so they can judge powerlifting events.
It's relative to that sport.
And now, when we train powerlifters, we make sure
you get
that
to
they
that level.
train that way. When I train athletes, I'm okay if they're a little short of parallel, because what they do is jump, run, change direction, right? They still are getting plenty of strong if they miss it by this much.
And most of the time, an athlete doesn't spend a lot of time. They don't spend time down there. They're up in an
If they're
athletic
down,
position.
if they're down there, they're getting beat.
Yeah.
If they're down that position.
Exactly.
So we've explained a little bit. I hope you understand that. This next part, what we want to do is definitely explain. We're going to show you. We're going to go into the lab. We're going to go in the lab, and we're going to basically show you how we work with athletes and why squatting to depth, why ass to grass, why those things aren't relevant to sports performance, and how they are relevant to Olympic lifting, and then how still within Olympic lifting, if you rush to the movement or rush to that genre of lifting, how you not being strong enough in the right way affects your lifts, and it can make
Get you hurt,
more injured, and you're really not helping yourself. So,
and it'll affect your mental too. Like, you'll end up getting down on yourself because you feel like, I'm not good enough or whatever. But no, put it in perspective. These people you see on your Instagram feed or your YouTube feeds, these are people that have been doing it for a decade plus most of the time.
Years.
Like, they've taken a long time to perfect these movements, and when they started with the basics and perfecting the basics, and then building off of that.
So we just want to, like I said, there's no right, wrong. Anyway, we're not saying we're right. We're not saying anybody's wrong.
That's how we do it.
I'm just trying to show different ways and different genres, because I feel like people get confused on what is right and what is wrong, and they're mixing different principles together. And these principles belong to different sports. CrossFit is a sport. Olympic lifting is a sport. Powerlifting is a sport. The way you train for each of them are different. Now, CrossFit, you have to train for all of them and be good at all of those disciplines. So that's what I'm just trying to show, is how each discipline and each genre is different, and how each training style is different.
But how they all bring something to the table at the same time. They're all good ways. They're all good things. They're all good ways. It's not.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love that people can do it. I love more people are experiencing it.
And that's why it's the headquarters. We wanted to be able to do all of it.
I want to be able to do all of it.
All
and
of
I want
it.
to make sure everybody is doing all of it right. And I want to make sure everybody's understanding which training goes to which style. And you're not confusing it because all you do is see YouTube, or you see an Instagram post of somebody that you really like, and you think that's the way you're supposed to be doing it. I just want to make sure everybody's educated on how and what they're doing, period. And that's my job as somebody who's been in the industry for as long as I have, with the knowledge that I have. I just want to share it with everybody and help everybody do what they want to do as long as they can do it. And that's it. Again, that's our whole goal at Elite Fitness, is to make sure everybody can do what they love to do as long as they can do it. And that's why we're some of the best trainers around.
Why we do what we do.
You guys stay ready for this next segment. Hope you loved this segment. We just did a little rant, little talk.
A little bit,
Hope it makes
something.
sense. It's all out of love.
Always out of
want you
love
guys
and
to
from
be
a
your
place
best.
of wanting to help.
So, next segment, in the lab with your boys, Thunder and Lightning. Brat. All right, guys, Thunder and Lightning show in the lab.
Back to it.
Brat.
Brat.
All right, like we said, what we're gonna do is show you lifespan human development. This is how I'm gonna teach my athletes through their whole life
From 5 all the way up.
how to work
However.
out efficiently. It takes the fundamentals. You never want to lose the fundamentals, all right? So what I first want to teach anybody is how to squat. How to squat, all right? So if you want to turn face me, Bradon, and now what we're going to do is, what I see first is with the kids, they sit in desks all day. In a desk, you lose how to sit your hips, where your hips are at in space. They have no spatial awareness of where their hips at. So let me show you what I see wrong first. So first, they don't know how to use their hips. So the first thing that moves usually is their knees. All right, so what happens is their knees are here, they're squatting, we load the quads and squat down like that. And this is what I see, all right? This may look like a decent squat. Not. We are quad loaded. So what I got to do is change that whole thing. Stand up, Bradon. So what I really care about is just, I want to just have you use your hips. All right, just get the hips back. Athletic position. All right, international sign of athleticism. Athletic position. You got your good old hip. All right. As long as your hips are moving first, our hamstrings, glutes are engaged. Now I want to sit that all the way back. All right, back, 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 back. Now we can create some power with that. All right, good squat. All right, athletic squat. All right, so we go from there. Let's come back around to the front. You're gonna stay facing the same way. All right, so same thing, guys. Now, how I want to avoid injuries. All right, go ahead and give me that good squat, Bradon. What we want to see how his arches are alive right there. What I first see with kids, their knees are caved in, all right? That's where we get a lot of ACLs. We become valgus on the knee, especially young girls, the way they're built. Their knees are naturally like that. So we have to readjust that and get them to be, boom. Now I'm here. It gives me more rooms for my hip. That is a nice, strong position right there, all right? I'm able to create force and power, all right? So another thing that we do, before I'm even gonna have him jump or do anything else, I've taught him how to squat. Now we're gonna move to the box. We teach these kids how to land. Get up on the box. We teach them how to land, all right? Same deal. When we land, what we see a lot of is, go ahead and give me 3. We see those knees cave in. Hold it for a little bit. Tage, go ahead and come around this way, brother. We'll get in front of him. And land. How many times do you see that? All right, arches collapse, knee comes in, it becomes valgus. All right, one more. Show them exactly, and you've seen your kids do this. Boom, all right, that's that bad squat that we saw before. All right, you see how that translates into sport? That's what an athlete's doing at that young age, so we correct that. All right, back up. Now we're gonna teach them how to land right. Step off, let me see it perfect. Boom. Now they know how, after squatting and me teaching them how to squat, now they know how to land in a perfect position, all right? We're landing perfectly. The knees are right where they need to be. I'm set up in that perfect athletic position that I'm trying to teach them, the international athletic position. Give me one more. Now that I taught them how to land, boom, now we're able to create force and make an athletic movement. Now I want you to jump. Boom. See that hip extension? When he comes up, go ahead and jump again. Hips, extend, we're back in that athletic position, all right? This takes a little bit of time for the kids to get, but we have to get this before we can move on to anything else, all right? Now we've taught a kid how to squat, how to jump, how to land. Actually, let's get on the box, because this is what a lot of kids are gonna jump on the box.
Jump on the box?
Get down, you're gonna jump on the box. Now this is the thing a lot of kids aren't taught. And they're like, wow, I never taught this, we learned this before. I'm gonna teach you how to jump onto a box, all right? It's important to land, it's important to jump and land on the jump. So what we tell our kids is, don't jump to the box. That's not what I want. I want you to jump up as high as you can, land on the box, let the box catch you. Important, all right? So now we're gonna sit up in that athletic position, recruit power, and jump, hip extension, land in athletic position on the box. All right, give me one more. And jump, land athletic position on the box. Now we're able to jump, we're able to land. That's half the battle of being a young athlete, all right? Now, once we progress to an older age, we wanna add load. We wanna add load to that squat, all right? Once you add load to that squat, a lot of things happen. You stay right there, Tej, turn sideways. What I don't want, we have load here, so he still needs to maintain this position. Let's see what we happen when the kids are lazy and don't want to maintain that position there. That is not an athletic position, right? Go ahead and drop the kettlebell. Now that is a weaker position. Go ahead and get in that position again. His hips and butts tuck underneath, and he's in a bad position. He's weaker in this state. Go ahead and show a good position real quick. Boom. Now show that bad position again. Potato salad, weakest potato salad. Get in the good position. Solid, all right? If you're harder to move, you're a better athlete, all right? This is what we want to do. You can produce more power this way. We want solid athletes. That's why our athletes are always solid and hard to move, all right? So add the load again. So now we've taught them how to maintain posture and position. All right? Now we're gonna squat, give me 5. Now we can do 5 loaded, so now we're getting stronger, all right? Now the stronger we get, the harder it is to move us off soccer, move us off the ball. It is harder to jam us, it's harder to tackle us because we're strong, all right? Now, how this correlates to working out is in the 4th quarter, in the last second half of soccer, all right, we're getting tired. You must maintain posture and position in those later rounds of games. So as we strengthen our bodies and do more strength training, we're able to maintain posture and position longer, making us a better athlete on the field, all right? That's what we do. That's what we do to help our young athletes become better. We teach them how to move better, so now they move better than everybody because they've been taught how to run. They've been taught how to squat. They've been taught how to move correctly. Their body can move correctly. We taught them how to maintain posture and position correctly. Now they have the endurance and muscle endurance to withstand a full game, all right? We've built them to handle the load of a game instead of just throwing them out there and hoping that they're good athletes, all right? That's how you take an okay athlete and send them to the top because we've taught them how to be better, all right? That's our rookies.
Rookies.
Up to our middle school kids before we
That
start.
weird 11, 12-year-old age.
Before we start adding squat bar, before we start adding the barbell. All right, so we're gonna go to the barbell. People get funny once you add a barbell into the game. That's when everybody thinks they know all the answers or there's a right or wrong way to do it. All right?
That's where the different disciplines come into play.
This is when the game changes. This is exactly when the different disciplines come into the game. Braden, I'm gonna let you go ahead and explain this one since you're the strongest guru out here.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yes, sir.
So, I mean, guys, it's all the same, right? We started with an air squat, going to the jump, going to the land, adding the kettlebell. Principles don't change, all right? Once we put a bar on our back, all the movements are the same. The hips, drive the knees out, chest up, bam. But a lot of times what happens when we see with the barbell is that kids have a hard time sitting the hips, all right? Now the bar's in a different place. We see them coming way forward here. Knees coming forward, loading the quads, all of that. We gotta hinge at the hips. Pushing them back, keeping the chest up, driving the knees out, bam. Now, when we max with our athletes, we are aware. Sometimes they're not gonna hit parallel, sometimes they're not gonna hit depth, but again, those terms are all relative, right? If we can get a good amount of weight loaded in an athletic position, we're gonna be able to transfer that to the field. This is where we jump from, this is how we land, athletic position, how we make movements, all right? When we go to test, of course, we'll try to go for parallel.
Go ahead and turn around, show. Go ahead and turn around. Now, of course, no, sideways, sideways. Of course, when we teach our kids to squat, we teach them to squat to death.
Yes.
Go ahead. We teach them to squat to death. Now, whenever you maintain load and you really stress the load to get stronger, that's when your body starts to break down and you can't maintain that load. Well, when your body starts to break down, that gives us a cue of what we need to strengthen, how we need to make you stronger. Do we need to strengthen your hamstrings? Do we need to strengthen your butt? Do we need to strengthen your low back? How can we make you better? Because we don't want you breaking down at that position. We need you to be able to get to a low athletic position and then come up. Now, what you also hear us say is bring that ass.
Bring that ass.
What we like to do is get low in athletic position and then boom, bring those hips.
Intensity.
That's where the power is at in the hips. Go ahead and show them the jump. Show them one of them Bradon jumps.
Oh, the full one, huh?
Full one. What finishes that off is the hips. That's what we're trying to bring, guys.
That snap.
Always, all right? So for our athletes, we do want them to get parallel.
Absolutely.
Bring the hips. But I'm okay if they get scared and stressed here and come back up. Okay.
Now I know what to work on.
Now I know what to work on. Now I know where to reevaluate. Now I can see, are they just scared? Are they just intimidated by getting that low because it's uncomfortable? Where we say you got to be comfortable
being uncomfortable.
Or can they not maintain posture and position at that depth?
And that means I need to adjust my program in order to address those issues.
Address those issues, get them stronger so they can handle posture position at that depth. That's what we're doing. That's our athlete program right there. That's what we're trying to teach, just basic on the squat, all right? Now this is where we're gonna get a little bit advanced, all right? This is where we get our GPP, and this is where people like to, go different ways
Diverge.
on it, diverge on it, all right? So let's go ahead and go, we're gonna go ass to grass on this.
All right.
Because, I have no problem going ass to grass, and if we have people that like to get low and go low, and that's what they want to do, and even if you've seen it on YouTube and that's what you think you need to do, I am fine with that, all right? Because you're getting full range of motion. And at that point in age, full range of motion through the joints is what you need at our age to maintain a good body, to be able to move, to be able to be active for longevity, all right? So I'm okay with that. Go ahead, Bradon, get low. Now, that's good, right? We teach that. That's fine, all right? That's good depth. But at no way do I need my athletes concentrating on getting this low because, go ahead, go all the way down. What sport do you play down there besides catcher? And I'm fine if my catchers get there.
Yep.
But look at it where his knees are. He has a little ankle flexion, and that's good, right? He can own that position. But somebody who's just new into the game is not going to be able to own that. What you're going to see is they're going to try to go ass to grass, and they're going to have knees over toes, and they're going to be all here.
And pushing off their toes, not sitting back, not activating the hips, not activating our core, keeping our back where it needs to be.
No glutes are involved, all right? This is knee, joint, 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 joint. Now come up and stop halfway. Now we're all on our quads, all right? I'm trying to build a strong posterior chain, not strong quads, all right? I know that hurts. But your hamstrings are off, your butt's off, your hips is in a bad position, all right? And that's what we see a lot of people who try to do that too early. Go ahead and stand up. Now, what does it hurt to go ahead and learn to get your hips back, sit back, get your knees out, and get strong there first. Maintain, be able to maintain posture and position before you're trying to go ass to grass. See how we can do that easily and come up? Because he's been taught over the years. When Bradon first jumped and first came in here and started jumping, this is what he did. And we corrected it, and he can jump really far that way, all right? But we've corrected it, and now he can jump farther because he's here. So that's kind of what we do there. Now, when you go ass to grass, we're gonna go to Olympic platform. Now, powerlifters, you'll see powerlifters get wider stance. They'll get that low, and boom, bring it, because they're gonna recruit as much muscles as they can. That posterior chain, big butts, big hamstring, big
Powerful
quads,
hips.
powerful hips. They wanna bring as much power as they can, all right? Now, what we're gonna do is Olympic lifting. Now, Olympic lifting, you wanna get ass to grass because you need to catch the bar low. You wanna dive underneath the bar. So when you're trying to dive underneath the bar and move heavy weight, you gotta drive underneath that bar. All right, so Bradon, since you're the guru of Olympic lifting, I'll let you go ahead and
I'm the guru now, huh?
guru of everything right here.
What we want first, a snatch, a clean?
Let's go with just a snatch. Let's just go with a snatch.
So, here's the thing about the snatch, all right? We get set up nice and tight here.
Now his feet are more narrow. His feet are closer together in the Olympic lift.
Yep.
That is fine. That's good.
That's specific to that sport. Same thing you're saying about the powerlifters being wide. This is where you see a lot of Olympic lifters line up their feet, all right? You'll see all the same principles align. My back's nice and tight, nice and flat. My core is engaged, my knees are out. And what you do is you're gonna pull here. You're gonna put as much power into that bar as you can.
Those hips come through, right? You got that hip extension.
Gotta have the hip extension.
What does that look like? It looks like a jump. That's the same kind of force.
That's exactly what it is, all right? Now, what makes an Olympic lift so technical is how quick you have to move from one movement into another. As soon as I get that full pull, that jump, I have to be just as quick to snap under the bar and again, an athletic position, all right?
Now this is lighter weight, so he can get underneath it really easily. But when it's a heavy load, he doesn't have much time to get underneath it, so he has to dive underneath that bar.
Yep.
So go ahead and get ass to grass like they do. He's gonna catch it there, right? So that's why whenever Olympic lifters train, they're gonna train to this depth because they're training to train and catch that catch, right? Whenever they squat, they know they're gonna end up in this position and have to come up from that position, all right? So it makes sense to get good at being low at that position and being able to create force and power in that position.
But here's the thing. It's all a progression, all right? That's the last progression, is being able to get to a point where I can maintain that same posture and position I was doing over here with the box jumps at the bottom of a snatch, all right? Same things. That's why it takes years to master things like this. That's why people end up getting, you know, frustrated in things. They don't realize how much time it takes.
You're tired,
you got
right?
me doing a lot of squats.
Hey, man, you did it. That's what I have you here for. What I want you to do is just do a squat clean for me real quick, Bradon. I'll let you rest a little bit. But, again, what I see, and Tage, if you can get in this spot right here, this is what I see with the beginners, Olympic lifters, right? What we really try to do is build the strong posterior chain. Big
all
butt,
this back here.
big hamstrings,
Wide
big
back,
all that stuff. Not quad dominant. We're all going to be quad dominant if we don't build those other things, because we're going to trust our quads more than anything. That's what I see the most when people start lifting. All right, so what happens here is, go ahead, we're going to do a beginner
Squat clean?
squat clean, beginner squat clean. They still come forward, and I've seen it. You've seen it. Drop even lower, bro. I'm sorry. You've seen this in YouTube videos and Instagram videos, and they come up from this position. Come up, squat now. Stand up. All right. They let the quads do most of the work. They're letting the quads do most of the work because they're not built enough back here to handle it. All right. So all these things have progressions too. All right. If you skip a process, can you train that way? Yes. Is it the most effective way? No. Can you get away with it and build up to it? You sure can. But are you more likely over time to get injured and get hurt?
And have those aches and pains that you just don't want to deal with on a day-to-day
Be wearing the knee
basis.
sleeves, be wearing all the sleeves and all the stuff. Yes. But if you are able to work with somebody who's a professional in the industry and properly do it, the progression of strength training, training your body to be able to handle these loads, you're going to be okay. You can do all of it.
Posture and position.
Posture, position.
That's the
all
key.
right? And functionally kinetic, be able to move weight through space effectively. Now, what we do at Elite Fitness, very simple, GPP. We don't go all this way. But if you want to learn all this way, I'll teach you that.
I can teach you that.
We can teach you that. But we keep it very simple,
Very basic.
just to
Basic
be
movements.
maintain posture and position and function through life, and teach you to a point where you want to do more.
I'm all about that always.
is more.
I want you to do more.
That's what we try to do.
We try to address the basics before they progress to anything
You gotta
else.
get the basics.
Have
You gotta
to.
get the basics, and you gotta get strong at the basics, because you'll get frustrated moving to here because you're quite not ready for it. Your body's just not built that way.
Yep.
You can't come in off the street and expect to be elite Olympic lifter like your favorite person on Instagram. It just doesn't happen that way. It's time underneath
A lot
the
of
bars.
time.
As you keep doing these moves, yeah, you get stronger. And that's kind of the process, guys. We just walk through lifespan
Of
human
elite
development
fitness.
of how Elite Fitness tries to teach their athletes, tries to make sure they stay injury-free, and
Make them better at
make
what
them-
they
make
at what they
everybody
play, and just
better.
make them feel better.
a lot of times I don't explain all of this,
The process.
the whole process and where we're going, and people get really excited about where they're at and want to progress and progress and progress, and I never like to hold people back, but at some point, you know, you can dabble in it, but this is what we're trying to teach, all right? We want to build you a strong posterior chain, and we want to make sure you move
Strong
correctly,
core,
and
all
then
those.
we can do anything that you want to do,
Progress.
all right?
Just like anything else, the same thing in a weight room. It
Unless
takes time.
takes time. Unless you're just a natural 1%er, you just move perfectly and life is perfect for you, hey, you can do that. And you see that. Most of those athletes are in the NFL or the top notch. Those are people you're watching on TV. Those are the 1%ers who just
1%ers.
naturally do it. We're regular, great human beings, but it takes time to progress into all these movements. That's
But
what
that's
we're here
the thing
to
is
do.
you guys can do those movements.
can do it. It
You
takes
just
time.
have to be taught. And it takes time of repping it, just like anything else in life.
Okay, and that's what we do here at Elite Fitness, guys. That's what we try to teach everybody and anybody. Yes, we'll take you off the street and we'll teach you how to squat perfectly, learn how to squat. If you can't get there, lack of mobility, lack of strength, we will build those things so you can get there. Many people know I have taught them how to do it correctly over time. That's the difference. A coach can teach you what you're doing wrong and how to do it right. If you're not a perfect mover right away, that's a challenge. I've seen it
Most of the time, that's what you're going to see, too.
That's what you're going to see. You have to be good at teaching people how to do it correctly and having the answers and different ways to do it. So, guys, thanks for watching the In the Lab session.
Yep.
We'll take it back to the table.
Finish it up.
Finish it up.
Brat, brat.
Brat, brat.
Thunder, lightning.
Hey, guys, stay tuned. All right, guys, before we go any further, I want to just thank our sponsors, Clarity. Clarity, we've been taking it for several months now. It helps with your focus, helps with just your overall well-being.
It's helped my memory, truthfully.
It helps memory.
You know?
It's full brain function. It's to improve brain function and mental health and mental wellness. And then again, in the back, Flow Music, my boys at Flow Music.
Find your flow.
Find your flow. You can add all streaming music. You can put it in one playlist. Your friends can join the playlist.
No more passing around an aux.
It's really awesome what they've done there. Go ahead and check out Flow Music, my boys Clarity. We have this here for sale. We got our new CBD salve muscle cream. We have that here for sale, guys. If you got any aches and pains, you rub that stuff on you. I do soft tissue work, so if you need me to go ahead and show you how to do it, how to relieve some pain, how to help you recover faster and just get relief, more than happy to do that. We have that here for sale. But besides that, guys, this is what we do.
This is elite.
We're trainers. We're trainers first. And we're Elite Fitness because we do everything fitness.
And we're the headquarters because we want to be a place that anybody and everybody will be able to come, get a workout, start feeling good, start looking good, regardless of where you're at within your journey. And
learn how to progress in your journey.
Yep.
You know, that's not even us doing our boot camps and everything else that we've done. In my career, I've done A to Z. If you want to have a banging aerobics class, step class, I will kill that too. I always want everybody that works with me or anybody that works for me to be well-versed in every style of fitness. It's just funny whenever you add a barbell into it, people get particular with the knowledge and what they think you should know and what they think you should be doing, not knowing where the styles come from.
They're seeing a section of the picture, in a sense.
Right? So again, I will break down the barbell. Powerlifting, Olympic lifting,
athletic,
and CrossFit does across the board, all three. That's why they're the fittest athletes in the world. They're versed in all of the weightlifting, all of the energy systems, all of, of gymnastics. They use everything that we do training style, all right? That's why it's a sport, all right? And you have to train many different styles to be good at that sport. Now, athletics and running a better 40 time, becoming a better athlete, jumping higher, jumping further. We specialize in that, especially for kids. It's where my heart's at.
Yep.
And then general fitness, general population. I'm just here to make you move better, move well,
and feel
look
better,
good.
look good.
That's it. Lose
Wellness.
weight and be able to move and feel strong and be empowered as a human being, knowing you can pick up heavy stuff correctly and feel strong. It feels good to be strong.
Feels good to feel athletic too.
And then for our master's class, I want you to be healthy, be able to play with the grandkids, be able to have energy to play with the grandkids, be able to move well and still feel strong. You got Father Time creeping on your back. I want you to fight them off as long as you can. All right? Here at Elite Fitness, we always say it's not about where you start because we own the finish. All right? Elite Fitness, we're here for you. All right? Love, peace, and happiness.
Happiness always.